You're listening to the Esoterics Podcast.
Hello, lovely human people. This is Joe.
And I'm Fioraliz. Welcome back to the Esoterics Podcast.
Hello. How are you this week? How was your weekend?
It was wonderful, other than, triple digit heat or whatever. But yeah, it was great. Got some family time, and we got a complete lazy day, which Mike has been asking for a while.
Oh, nice. Was that Monday?
No, on Sunday, actually. It's usually
Sunday.
Yeah, we get to our weekends and it's like, let's do this, let's do that, let's put up this, let's, fix whatever thing, or let's go pick up the thing I found on Marketplace. And he had said, he's like, can we just have one lazy day? And I'm like, God damn it. Well, fine, since we have Monday as an extra day. So Sunday.
Right. Oh my God. But okay, what a great day to have a lazy day. It's super hot outside. Then you got the pool and you got, everybody home. Do you guys barbecue? Are you barbecuers?
We did. We barbecued on Monday. And at first I was like,
oh, nice.
I don't want to because it's like 110. I don't want.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess I can see that.
Yeah. But my mom and her boyfriend, my sister and her boyfriend came over. And then my mom's boyfriend barbecued. And I was like, fine, I'll clean the grill for you. And then you do the rest. I don't want to stand over the heat and take care of any of that. So if someone else is down to do it.
What do you cook?
Carne asada.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Yeah. We just kept it simple.
Right. Okay. So I grill all the time because I would rather cook food like my meat on the grill than I would in a frying pan or an oven or something.
For sure.
So I grill all the time. But this, because it was nice, it was like cooler.
Oh.
I felt like I got this really good deal on ribs. I just saw them, right? And I'm like, oh my God, that's a really good deal on ribs. So I grabbed them, I threw them in my freezer. And then because it was cooler, I was like, oh, I think I'm going to make ribs in the oven. Which still heated up the house way more than I was happy with. But anyway, they're not as good. But I can't grill ribs because you have to go slow and low. And I'm like, no, I don't have time to babysit it. That's too long.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not, I'm not good on babysitting things unless it's like, if I can stick it in a crock pot or whatever, and then I don't have to worry about it. But like my boss is like a big grill person. He has a smoker, he has a grill, he has a pizza oven. Like he does the whole shebang. He does this one. It's a tri-tip. Brisket. Thank you. Yes, brisket. So,
tri-tip. Yes. Brisket. Okay.
Yes, it's a brisket. It's like I think like a 16-hour process. Like he puts it in for overnight in the one thing, and then he lets it rest. Blah, blah, blah. Like it's a whole thing, right? And he has like alarms set on his phone, and I'm like, amazing meat. Like, thank you, super grateful. But all that work is that's not me. That's not for me. That's too much.
No, that is a wasted night's sleep. That is not worth alarms and stuff. Again, I'm very grateful, and I think I love brisket when it's done right. Oh my God, it's amazing. But I'm glad I don't have to do it.
Yeah, I'll just go buy it from the place that makes it. How about you?
No, honestly, I had mentioned this to you earlier that the one weekend of the year that I really miss home in Michigan is Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
I have these longstanding traditions that were really, really fun, and I just don't have those here, and so I miss it. But
yeah,
but I did. Here's kind of a funny story. So I am a huge Michigan State football fan and a huge, even huger, making up a word, Michigan State basketball fan. But it's not basketball season right now, so I won't go there. But so it's football season. And, living here, I don't get to see any of the games in live. and that was something that I did every year. I would see at least one football game live. Well, the Spartans are coming to Washington to play the Seattle. Well, it's in Seattle. They're the Washington Huskies, and I snagged a ticket.
Oh, cool.
And I'm so freaking excited. So I'm gonna go next weekend. Actually, I'm gonna go watch the Spartans take on the Huskies in Seattle with a couple other friends. So
that's fun. I've never been to a football game. I've been to basketball.
So if you go to a football game, I mean, basketball is like the church of I call it the church of Izzo. The coach is the coach. So I don't know what if I would recommend a pro football game for you or college. I like college better. It's just more fun.
Okay.
But if you've never been and you don't really care about sports ball, then you might want to just do a pro game. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. I liked the energy of a basketball game and the fact that I can actually follow the ball, because for me, football, that's why I don't really like to watch football, is because I lose track of where it's at. And I'm very thankful for new technology and how like now you watch TV and it like has a little box and it tells you where it's at. And I'm like, this is made for me.
Right.
But before
they highlight it, I know. No, I get you. And there's so many, I mean, I love live games, the energy and the tailgating and just it's such a damn fun thing to do.
Yeah,
but if I have my choice, I would rather watch a game at home because I can actually follow the game. I can't follow the game live because like you say, replay and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't used to like football. I've always been a Michigan State basketball fan, always been an NBA fan, but I never really cared about football until one of my friends is like, hey, I have skis and tickets. Would you ever want to catch some football games? And so I was like, yeah, sure. And then I was with she had like a bunch of women that she watched football with. And so when they were away games, we would all meet at this bar, this fun sports bar, and watch games. And one of her other friends was like, you literally cannot be a part of this group if you don't know what's going on. And I'm like, but I'm here for the drinks and I'm here for, the snacks. And she's like, if you say football pants, I'm going to be like so mad at the snacks, right? I'm always there for the snacks.
Yes.
So she's like, all right, let me teach you. And so she literally taught me like, this is what's happening. These are the elements of the game and everything. Okay. So it was fun to learn because it wasn't jammed down my throat. She was like, this is what just happened. And I was like, yay. And I would get excited. So
she made it fun. She made it fun.
But now I really like it.
Yeah.
She made it fun, right? And so now I watch it on my own. Like on a Saturday, I'll have the football game on in the background. I'll be screaming and yelling, and the neighbors probably think I'm insane. But yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Mike watches. He'll watch baseball games whenever he can, and I'll watch it. I'll watch him with him, like when certain players go up to bat or whatever. But I don't like when people get mad about sports. So I'm just like,
about a stupid sports
I'm like,
team.
no, I'm not like I don't know. We don't get paid. I don't get paid to put my emotions into that. So I just can't. I just can't. I can't be that invested in anything that is, I don't know, like it's a business. I don't know. It's weird to me.
It's an acquired taste, I think, for anybody. I know plenty of guys that are like, I'm not into sports.
Yeah.
And, college basketball and college football, that's it. Anything else I could care less about. I don't really watch baseball, or I don't like hockey, none of that. No, but those two sports, I'm really, I enjoy the whole process of being a fan and watching the games.
Yeah.
And, cheering for the team and the wins and when they lose, like the lows.
Yeah.
It's fun.
The community factor of it and the camaraderie that comes from cheering for a team with a group of complete strangers, and you have the one thing that's binding you together, like the bond is the fact that you guys follow the same team or that you love the same team. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that energy of like camaraderie. I don't so much care for the like, I automatically hate you because you're a Red Sox fan and I'm a Yankees fan. Like,
well,
I'm
listen.
And
listen.
I know.
And I'm speaking to all you U of M fans out there. I'm just saying, I can't agree with what she's saying right now.
See, we can have two different viewpoints on this.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think this is our first segue into sports on the Esoterics podcast.
Yeah, there's this very good episode of Hidden Brain, the Hidden Brain podcast, where they're studying the psychology of group thought, of groupthink. And the psychologist who studied this and who's written a bunch of papers on this, her interest in the idea was sparked from going to a Yankee Red Sox game. And then these people who at first were like nice to her, as the game progressed and the score got tighter, they were like badgering her and insulting her. And she's like, I'm just here to enjoy a game with my boyfriend. Like, but it sparked that, like, what causes this, and what creates this? But, to like bring it all home, it's when you put yourself in a group of like us versus them, it creates that group thought thing. But it's also the key to being a better human and being a better member of society, is to think, instead of thinking of us versus them, thinking of ourselves as, oh, we're all human and we're all part of the human race, and that's what we are, and that's it. And then so there's no reason to be like us versus them, or I'm better than them, or they're whatever. It's, we're all humans, and that's it. And if you can put yourself in that group, you can have a lot more empathy and respect for people.
Right. Well, I just don't understand how you can just instantly hate anything. I mean, this applies to politics. It applies to like literally loathe a human being to the point of denigrating them, causing them bodily harm, hitting them, spitting them, whatever these asshole idiots do, like these crazy Uber fans. I don't understand. Like, what is the mentality to get you to that point where you're like, I'm going to take out my stupidness on this other person? I don't get that. Yeah. So that's the part that always makes me go, wait a minute, what? Yeah. Like, what? It's a fucking game.
It's a game at the end of the day. Yeah. And I think a certain amount of playfulness between like friends, like if you have friends that are U of M fans, right? And then you kind of poke fun at each other, and you have things that you say, you'll text each other and be like, haha, or whatever. But that's fun.
My friend Mark on my Facebook. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you'll see about this time that the trash talking between myself and my friend Mark, it happens all season long, but it's fun, and I really, really like him, and I respect him as a human. And outside of sports, we have a lot in common, and it's really fun.
So there are ways to do it and still keep it upbeat and have a friendship with a person. You don't have to hate everyone who doesn't like the same team that you do. So what are we talking about today?
Today, I thought that it would be an interesting conversation to have about universal law. We've all heard of the law of attraction, but it's just one of the 12 universal laws. Yeah. And so I thought it would be an interesting to get familiar with the other 11.
Okay.
I can say that knowing them has helped me live a life more aligned, because here's the thing about the 12 laws. The universe gives us these really fucking cool tools to help us navigate our spiritual journey, evolution, challenges, all that shit. It gives us these tools so that we can do that with ease and joy. Yeah. But it's up to us to learn how to use them. So that's that's how people struggle. And in order to use them, we first have to be aware of them. So I thought, well, let's get into that.
Let's start with step 1.
All right. So let's talk about what exactly universal law is. It's an explanation of how things operate sort of in this third dimensional time-space reality. And these concepts and rules and laws all originated from source, also known as God, the universe, the higher power, etc. These laws were not invented, but rather discovered by humans through, their experiences throughout, humanity. So that's really cool that it's, I don't know if they were channeled or however, but they were sort of discovered. And then the thing to know about them is that they're always, always, always working, whether you're aware of them or not. They're always at play.
Okay.
The law of divine oneness. That's the first rule. This is the primary law of the universe. And that basically says that everything is connected energetically. Okay. So as energetic beings, none of us are truly separate from one another. So no matter what happens, we're never alone. We're all connected. All right. So how you apply that rule, I guess, maybe in your everyday, is just being compassionate with others, recognizing that we're all similar. We all have hearts, emotions, needs and feelings, and that sort of thing. Basically the whole what would love do type of concept, which listen, I'm not good at that, but I try.
I know. We try.
I give it to myself. I try. Okay, the law of vibration. That's the second law. We're going to get into this one a tiny little bit deeper than any of the other, and you'll understand why when I'm done. Okay, so this is the law that says our personal vibrational frequency, our thoughts and beliefs, basically, that creates our specific life experiences.
Sure.
So remember we touched on this in episode 7 or 57 about walk-ins.
Yes.
When I said that the Seth Speaks author, Jane Roberts, she channeled Seth, who sort of introduced us to the deeper meaning of this law. So basically, your thoughts create your reality. And as long as your thoughts are aligned with what you want, you will manifest your desire. You absolutely will. Okay. So to get deeper into that a little bit, I thought I'd give an example. So let's say that you're able to easily receive money. Some people, it just keeps coming to them, but you have difficulty holding on to it or growing your savings because you have this belief or your personal frequency or vibration that doesn't support the idea that you're prosperous and that money goes in and goes out. Anything that goes out easily comes back in. You don't hold that belief. And when you pair the law of vibration with the law of attraction, you've sort of nailed the formula for what it takes to attract desires into your reality through that vibrational alignment. Okay. All right. Now this is another area where we're going to get into it a little bit deeper. Vibrational alignment. It's when the energy that you're sending out is vibrating at the same energy as the energy that you desire to experience.
Okay.
Right. Okay. And so how do you know? How do you know that you're in alignment or you're in vibrational alignment? Based on your emotions. And so Abraham Hicks has this cool emotional guidance scale, and it lists 22 of the most common emotions in sequence from the highest vibration. What do you think the highest vibration is?
Love.
Right. I would think so too. Right. But apparently it's joy.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought so too. I was like, shut up. I had to double check Abraham Hicks. I'm like, they don't know. They do.
I would say the difference between love and joy is that joy is just louder.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really beautiful.
And that's probably why, because there's usually like more sound involved with joy, right? Than with love.
Yeah. And then the lowest, what would you think see, again, I didn't think this either. What would you think the lowest?
Oh, I don't know. Either like fear or hate.
Right. I would exactly what I thought too. It's powerlessness.
Oh, okay. Feeling defeated. Okay. Yeah,
right.
I can kind of see that.
They make sense. Anyway, so I'll share the image of the one that I sort of pulled up on Google on the socials, but anybody, any of you listening, you can just Google Abraham Hicks emotional guidance scale and you'll find tons of examples out there. It's not one specific thing. And I think it's been redone a million times, but anyway, so that's how you find out whether or not you're in alignment, is based on that scale. So let's say that you are feeling hopeful, content, optimistic. Yeah, you're in alignment. But if you're feeling discouraged, worried, then you're not in alignment with what's going on. So that's how you sort of apply that law of vibration with the law of attraction.
Yeah. You see this a lot with relationships, or when a person is single, and if they're kind of in that vibration of like desperate single, of like, oh, I'm like, I only meet jerks, I only do this, or I can't seem to ever meet anyone. And it's like, because you have this like desperate, like fear-based thing of like, maybe you're like afraid of, deep down fear of being alone, and that's shining through. And so because the vibration that you're putting out is this feeling of fear of being alone, the universe is going to reflect back to you, yes, you're alone. Yes, you're alone. And that's kind of where you're stuck.
Yes.
Whereas once you release the whole, like the fear of being alone, you're like, you know what? I'm comfortable where I'm at, regardless of whether there's an extra person here with me or not. And then all of a sudden, they meet.
And then there it goes.
Yeah.
And then there it goes. Right. So that's a perfect example of, right. You're actually keeping the thing from you because you're stuck in this vibration. It's just really hard to get out of that vibration when you're in that mindset of loneliness. So loneliness, it looks like, is, I don't see it on the scale here, but it would be along those lines of fear, grief, depression, despair, and powerlessness, which is vibrational 22. Yeah. True. If anybody has ever experienced true loneliness, it is one of the most horrible feelings in the absolute world. And I'm not talking just like, I'm bored, I want to talk to somebody. I'm talking like serious loneliness. It fucking sucks. Yeah. And so I can see why it would be listed at 22. Mm-hmm. Anyway. All right. So let me see. In terms of money. Mm-hmm. Now, if you want to, I guess how to apply this law in terms of that money. Yeah. I'm going to recommend 2 books. So the first one is Wired for Wealth. That will help you sort of identify your money challenges, or what the energy is around money. Mm-hmm. And then Tasha Silver has a book called It's Not Your Money. So when you read the 2 of those together, the first book will help you identify where you might be at the lower vibrational or out of alignment with prosperity and abundance. Yeah. But then Tasha Silver, who's a little more woo-woo, she's going to help you see that, you know what, dude, it's not really your money. It's coming and going. It's flowing. Yeah. It comes in, it goes out. It comes in, it goes out. Yep. And I will tell you that once I started being mindfully like less, I'm sending this out, but I'm going to trust that the universe is going to return that to me. That it started flowing much, much, much more beautifully. Yeah.
Yeah, this is all stuff that we go over in my shadow work class on prosperity and money. We do this, and one of the main things is that prosperity needs a clear channel to flow through. So whether it's you have this desire to go on a vacation, or to fund a new home or a new car, or whatever it is, or you want to help someone, or you want to hire an employee, whatever it is, but it needs somewhere to go. It's not just like, you can't just be in like hoarding vibe of like, oh, I just want money because I just want to have it. No, it's what do you want to do with it? And that's, you're creating the channel for that to flow through.
You know what else is that people need to have an outlet for the universe to work through. So people are like, well, I'm always broke and blah, blah, blah. Okay, but do you have another income stream? Maybe you open up an Etsy shop and fill it with some shit that you do. Or maybe you know what I mean? But if you only have one income stream or one potential, that you have taken action and done on, then it would help to do something else. I mean, there's always blessings and stuff where, some people are just blessed with stuff that you can't account for. But for the most people, having a couple income streams is always a good idea, I think, anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, the law of correspondence. We're going to move on now because that was a lot. The law of correspondence states that our external reality is a reflection of our internal mental and emotional emotional state. So basically, as above, so below.
Yes.
And this is another law that makes it really easy to see where you're out of alignment. It's going to show your vibrational frequency and all that stuff. So if you're all fucked up internally, emotionally, you're gonna notice that your life is sort of reflecting that in all areas, right? Not just one area, but yeah. Let's see. How can you apply this law? Basically work with your higher self to ask what the situation can show you about yourself if you're in a like a lower vibrational emotional state. And remember that it's happening for you, not to you. I know some people might be triggered by that, like, I didn't ask for this, but you know what I mean.
Right. That's hard because we start getting into that field of spiritual bypassing, right? Of telling someone like, oh, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you, but it's like, this fucking sucks. Like, especially when it's like you lost someone or, whatever it may be. There's no, scale of what's worse or whatever. It's how you feel about it. But
it's how you feel about it.
It's hard when you're in it. It is. And so giving yourself that space to honor yourself in that moment, but also not adding to it on top of it, because yes, whatever difficult thing you're going through it, and no one is discounting that, but don't add more shit on top of it. Don't story tell yourself into saying like, oh, this happened because I'm deserve it, or because whatever. Don't pile
like,
more
nobody
shit on top
deserves
of it.
bad things other than child perverts. They deserve bad things. But you know what I mean? Like, nobody deserves horrible things happening to them. All right. The law of attraction. Everybody knows about that one. That is the most well-known concept. And basically it applies to everything in the universe, from objects, people, situations, thoughts, feelings, emotions, all those things. The law of attraction is why people experience either a lucky streak or a downward spiral. Right? Again, as within, so without, as above, so below. And so that's why when things get really, really good, that they keep getting good if you're present in that energy and you're like, life is really good right now. I'm so appreciative of this. I'm grateful. I love this. More, please, more, please, more. People never want to fucking ask for more. They're like, I shouldn't ask for so much. Fuck that. The universe is prosperous, abundant, and like endless. Ask for every fucking thing you've ever wanted in your entire life.
And then some people, and I know I've been guilty of this in the past, good things happen and then it's almost like you're waiting for the shoe to drop. Like,
I know, right?
And that's sometimes obviously it's a fear-based mentality, but the fear comes from because we're not used to experiencing so much good that we think that you have to like pay for it somehow by things going bad afterwards. And that's not true. Like, that's not
true at all.
Yeah. Allow yourself to be like, I used to think that way and I do not think that way anymore. And that's it. Just, again, like, don't add more, don't story tell more stuff around it. Just let it go.
Just let it go. I mean, and just be okay with the fact that you freaking deserve this amazing thing that's happening to you. You're not being judged for feeling that you deserve it. You're not being criticized. You're not being hated. Nobody's talking shit about you behind your back because you think you deserve good things. I mean, that is why a lot of people are like, maybe feel like they don't deserve them, or maybe they were told that they didn't deserve them by early childhood caregivers, early trauma experiences, whatever. That's a hard one to overcome, but man, when you do, it's a game changer. It really is.
Yeah. There is a person, I think it was on TikTok, giving this, it's a really short piece of advice using this law, that when something good happens or something, that brings you joy, just say, more of this, please.
Yes.
Or show me how this can get even better. Like, and then just keep asking for that. Like, show me how good it can be. And that's it. Like, and then just show the gratitude afterwards.
I have all of these little things stuck around my monitor here, little notes and everything, you know, because I have a desktop monitor, like a big giant one.
Yeah.
I have what is possible? That's a question mark to always ask. Well, what is possible? If I think, oh, that's not possible. Well, what is possible? And then I have this other note that says, who knows what the future holds, but the present is pretty sweet right now. And I've had that for like a year and a half up there. And and I always look at that, and then I have, you know, I am powerful. I always have more than enough, you know, all those things. But yeah. The law of attraction. Okay. The next one, number 5, is the law of inspired action. And that law states that inspiration will come to you when you're aligned with your true expression of self. So this means when you're doing the shit you're meant to do, when you're doing what you were born to do, when you're operating in the most authentic expression of self as possible, that's when inspiration comes to you. And inspiration is intuition. It's messages from spirit, from your spirit guides, from your higher self. It's your mental, spiritual language between you and the universe to help you stay focused. And it's the simplest law. Do what you love, and that's how you will live your best life. But again, people are like, you know, I can't do what I love because I got to pay the bills. I got to be this really boring, horrible corporate job that I hate because it pays the bills and it's what's expected of me. Right. I can't go be a chiropractor in Bali.
Yeah, it's the idea too of inspiration will find you working. And I'm trying to teach this to my daughter, our oldest, because she is kind of struggling with, she doesn't want to know what she wants to do with college. Like, she doesn't know, she's ready to transfer out of community college, and she's ready to go to a 4-year or to get her bachelor's. And she's like, I don't know what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I'm like, first of all, whatever you choose to do within the next 2-5 years doesn't have to be what you are going to do forever. Allow yourself allow yourself to go through and get another job and see if you like it. Maybe you hate it, and then you'll learn that you hated that and that you'd never want to do that again. Or you'll find that you love it and you want to do this forever, or you want to do this for whatever, the next 10-15 years. Nothing has to be permanent. Nothing is ever permanent. Allow yourself to flow through and see what brings you joy. What do you love? What do you not love? And that's okay, because everything teaches you something, whether it's that you hate it or you don't, or maybe you're neutral about it, and that's okay too. But don't stress out about having to have it all lined up. That's such good advice, Mom. Thank you.
No, and that's such good advice that you're giving her, right? Like, I wish that I had a mom that would have given me that advice. It just takes so much of the pressure off if she, internalizes it and takes it. Is she into like woo-woo and stuff?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, you should pull her numerology numbers, and that will help her identify, these are your strengths. These are where, this is your purpose. This is how you express yourself. This is your soul urge. At least give her a starting point. You should do that. If I can send you the link of the calculator I use.
Yeah, I've done some astrology for her. She's like a hardcore Virgo. She's a double Virgo.
Is she?
She's a sun Virgo, and so she has to have everything like planned out. Like, she's the one that hates surprises, and she has to have the map planned out from point A to point B. And I think that's what like she trips up, because she's like, I don't have a plan. Like, how do I just get started on step A without having And it's like, no, just take the first step, like one at a time, one thing at a time. And but everyone's crafted for their own individual lessons, and that's hers.
That's hers. And then coming from a 5, she's probably like, you're nuts. You don't even know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Structure.
Yes.
The 5's like, you don't need a plan. What do you need a plan for?
Plans.
Okay, so I guess how do you apply that law? That law, because it's of being aligned with your true self, your truest self-expression. I would think meditation, connecting with your spirit guides, that sort of thing. Maybe some astrology, some numerology, getting a reading, really helping yourself get clear on what it is you want to do and how you want to do it so you can start moving down that path. When people book Akashic readings with me, my favorite topic is where they're out of alignment with their soul purpose or their path, what they're meant to do, what they're supposed to do, what gifts they came to the world with, and then looking at their past lives to see what they're bringing forward, to see what would be good options for them going forward. That's my absolute favorite reading in the world to do and give.
That's extremely helpful.
It's super helpful. Okay, this one is called the Law of Perpetual Transmutation, and it's universal law number 6. And that states that energy is constantly evolving and fluctuating, and energy that is constantly moving in toward that similar frequency of positive, right? Or it's always moving toward negativity. Whatever it is, you're I won't say predisposed to that, but some people are just negative and, they just keep going with it and keep going with it. And they just experience negative things, right? That's their point of attraction. Yeah. And then there's those other people that are positive that, experience the opposite of that. So, the thing about this law says that those higher frequencies can help transmute those lower frequencies. So here we come to the whole purpose of a light worker. Light workers are meant to vibrate at a higher level so that their frequencies can help raise or transmute those lower vibrational.
Yeah.
Let me see, MAGA Republicans or MAGA Trump supporters versus, maybe a liberal who's like, or humanitarian, we'll just say, we'll say humanitarian. One vibration is higher than the other one, and that, it can help offset. Mostly about ascension and stuff.
Sure. So. It helps to offset that lower vibration. There's scientific evidence. There's the Maharishi effect of when people just meditate in one geographical area and how it raises the vibration. It lowers the crime. They do nothing, they do nothing. Like, they don't go into town. They don't recruit people. It's nothing like that. All they do is go into one location, meditate, and somehow, for some reason, the crime rate drops.
Didn't they do that with a whole town, like in Wisconsin or something?
It was
everybody at one time meditated.
Chicago. It was in Chicago.
Okay. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. The Maharishi effect. Who is Maharishi anyway?
He's the guy that developed the transcendental meditation technique. He's the guy that the Beatles hung out with. you know what I'm talking about. What did they do? When they went with him to India and they stayed with him for months, and when the Beatles came back and they were all hippies, it was because they had spent so much time with the Maharishi.
Dude, shut up. I never heard that story.
Yeah, he was their guru. Yeah, that was their guru.
I want a guru. I really do. I want to go to I don't necessarily want to go to a tropical part of the world because of the bugs, but
sure.
I do want to go and get a guru or something, or have a guru.
I don't know. I'm so weary about it now, because now it's all these. This is another tangent, but it goes off to a lot of it's men, and they're put in a position of power,
right?
And you can't be a single woman.
You can have a female guru.
Yeah, that's what it's gonna have to be, because in the state of the world as it is, no, I don't trust them.
Freaking gurus. We don't trust you because you say it weird too. Okay, the law of cause and effect. This is the 7th universal law. The law of cause and effect. That states that for every cause there's an effect, right? Okay, so again, we go back to our experiences are the effects of our thoughts. So to change our experiences, we must change our thought. Okay, here's the thing, how to apply it or work with it or, use it to your advantage is that what you put out there, it's going to come back to you. It might not come back to you eventually, it might not come back to you right away, but it will come back to you eventually.
Yeah.
Now, Yes, that's what you put out, you get back, right? What comes around goes around, that sort of thing. The law of cause and effect, I think, is more karma rather than the next law that we'll talk about, which is the law of compensation. That's law number 8. The law of compensation basically says you reap what you sow. Okay.
Okay.
So what you give to others shall be given to you. Again, going back to number 7, what you change your experiences, you change your thoughts. See the difference there?
So would you say, so which one is more karmic than the other? Which one would you say? Or are they both technically karmic?
I would well, they both technically are, but I would say the law of cause and effect is more about experience, right? You change your thoughts, you change your experience. And remember, I said that karma is experiential. Karma is not punitive. It's about experiencing. And so if you can manage your experiences by managing your thoughts, which then change your experience, I mean, that's fucking badass, right? The law of compensation says what you give to others will be then given to you. And that's the opposite of what I think karma is. And it makes me mad when people are like, karma's going to get you. No, karma's not going to get you. Karma's not an asshole walking around punking people. Almost sometimes it feels like basically, the law of compensation says if you offer your highest and best, your best version of self to others, that's what you're going to get back from others, or you're going to be rewarded. It assures us basically that our efforts will always come back to us positively if we contribute positively, right? So what you give to others shall be given to you.
Okay.
So, honestly, how do you work with that and incorporate that? Just ask yourself, and this is hard too, all the time. I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass. Ask yourself, where am I being called to serve and support others today, right? How am I being called to live my purpose in service of others? How can I support others? That sort of thing, which is not easy because some days you're like, fuck others. I just want to do me,
Yeah.
Or maybe that's just me.
Honestly, if you spend too much time in the car and, you just surround yourself with people that don't know how to drive or people who are constantly on their phones and aren't paying attention to the road, it will drive you insane. And it will reduce the empathy that you have for people by great amounts.
My God, other drivers. Nobody should be allowed to drive except for the people that we deem okay, right? Okay, you can drive, but no.
There should be a common sense test.
The law of relativity. Yes, a common sense test. The law of relativity. This law suggests that we are, that we tend to compare things in our world, but in reality, everything is neutral, right? And it's all about perspective. Everything is relative. We all perceive reality in our own way, and we all perceive it differently. Again, with politics, right? Some people perceive Joe Biden as a doddering old, I don't know what they call him, Brandon. And others, perceive him as, like I do, somebody who's just brought some fucking stability back to the stupid White House, right?
Yeah.
Perception. So, you can apply that by understanding, looking at the tougher parts of our life with a little bit more compassion. For instance, if we're ungrateful about something, it could be because we're comparing what we have with what somebody else has. And so, basically looking. So the other day, first off, I just want to say that I hate being told to appreciate what I already have. I hate that more than anything because it's like, God damn it. I want my feels. Let me have my feels. And if you can't hold space for me, fuck off. I don't say that to people if they're telling me, but I'm thinking it maybe a little bit. Anyway, so the other day I did a card pull for myself and I got the 4 of Cups. Okay. And then now I use the Light Seers Tarot. So if you have that, and you want to grab your guide and look it up what it says, it's all about basically the card says, and I quote, being a brat, not being grateful for what you have. Okay. When I read that the other day, it hit just right and hurt my fucking feelings. It made me so mad too. I was so mad. I legit out loud said, "Fuck you, tarot." But the message was necessary because it was a situation in my life where I needed to realize, okay, like I have it pretty good.
Yeah.
I just was being a little bit of a brat about things. And then once I shifted that and realized how much I actually have to be grateful for, it changed everything. Everything shifted. So, I was just, because I changed the perspective, I was able to move out of my perception of how that was. And so that's freaking the law of relativity, how I experienced it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That tarot was savage though. I even looked it up the next day and it still like hit. I was like, freaking, I'd never seen it before.
Yeah. That sometimes the tarot, well, most of the times I feel like the tarot is like that. It's not friendly.
It can be mean.
Very, very brutally honest best friend.
I know. Damn it. Okay. So let me see. What are we on? Number 10? Yep, law of polarity. It states that everything has an opposite: good and evil, love and fear, warm and cold. Two sides of the same coin. Here's something interesting about this law, though. This law is what gives birth to new desires when we manifest by pointing out that the thing we do want already exists in our soul, and it's just waiting to be manifested in your life. So I tell people like if you really, really, really want, it's your biggest desire to own a house, or something even a little bit more crazy, like to be a race car driver. That's yours because that is in your soul blueprint. It's in your soul. That's a part of you. And people are like, why do I want to be? Why do I want to do that? That's a crazy dream or whatever. It's not, because it exists within you. Because I certainly don't have that dream to be a race car driver.
Sure.
So, it's something unique to, right? I mean, that would be kind of cool, I guess, maybe a little bit. But,
yeah.
So anyway, with the law of polarity, if you're experiencing a difficult situation, maybe tune into what the opposite looks like, which can just sort of give you a new perspective.
I see that as like when someone's jealous of what someone else is doing or what someone else has. And you have to realize like the opposite of that is you deserve that too, because a lot of times it's like it's a secret little voice telling you like, oh, that person has that and you don't have it, therefore and then story goes on or whatever. Whereas if you realize that sometimes that spark of jealousy or envy that you may have, like, oh, she's doing that, I would love to do that. It's like, well, you can do that. Your road may look very different than theirs, but you are capable. And the fact that you had that inkling, that little feeling, is an indicator that maybe you should pursue something like that.
Plus, 9 times out of 10 when we're seeing what somebody else has or does, it's on fucking social media. Yeah. And social media, I mean, it's like people only post their best shit. Well, not only, because sometimes you get people on there that post all the shit show details of their life, which is like, I need my popcorn for this. But for the most part, people are like, look at my perfect life. Look at my awesome life. Look at, and it's like, okay, well, that's not really the case, but.
Yeah, sure. But also, I mean, not everyone's going to post, like, I'm not going to post myself first thing in the morning. Fuck that. No. My iPhone doesn't even recognize my face. I'm not going to share that with you.
No, or share, your deepest family secrets or drama. No. Or mostly the best part, I think the worst thing is when people share like relationship or family drama on there. It's like, ooh, why do you want people knowing that about you? But then, of course, I will stay up all night waiting for the updates on that story.
I have a friend from high school has been posting about how they were supposed to move out of state and whatever happened fell through, and now they're supposed to be out of their like rental at X day and they don't have anywhere to go. And they haven't been able to find
that's how homelessness happens.
Yeah, they haven't been able to find a place to rent within their budget. And so they're going to have to like live in their car for a while. And she had posted about how people had been like wishing her husband bad and like, you know, this kind of stuff. And my first thought was like, oh my God, like you need a limpia. Like you need to like shed this shit away from you. Like you need to get rid of like that bad juju that people have clearly sent you. You are obviously aware because you're talking about it. Yeah, you need to do something about it, and you need to not talk about it because you're just perpetuating more of it. But yeah, you need to fix that and give yourself some baths. And
did you tell her?
You know, that's the thing is like, this isn't someone like that I know in that, you know, in that way. So I can't just like pop into comments and be like, hey, let me prescribe you a limpia. Like, no.
I think you could slide into their DMs, right? As the kids say.
I mean, maybe. I mean, it wouldn't hurt, right? But then, I mean, I don't care. I don't care if she thinks like anything about me, but I'm just trying to be helpful. Would they believe you? Maybe.
Yeah.
I'll try it.
All right, keep us updated. We'll be expecting an update next week. Mostly, really, like that's horrible. Though I want to know that they're okay because that's how fucking homelessness happens.
Yes,
you know, and it's not just. That's the biggest thing I've learned living here in Portland. It's not just because people are hobos or whatever,
or drugs,
right?
or on drugs or something. No,
right? Which is but they're legit people that just are like can't find housing or can't afford it, which is Yep. I mean, that's just insane. And especially here on the West Coast, it's like I've never experienced it like this before. Every day I'm grateful for this place. Because, okay, we have a couple more. We have the law of rhythm. And that states that cycles are a natural part of the universe. Everything's in rhythm, just like the 4 seasons. Our life has seasons. And so when we surrender to the flow and allow like our inner wisdom and our intuition and all of that stuff take hold, then life just gets a little bit easier because we realize ebb and flow. Ebb and flow is one of the more important concepts that I had to learn with my money mindset, is that when it comes in, it just keeps coming in. And sometimes it can feel a little bit like, whoa. And then you expect that you get to that certain level and then you expect it and then it just drops. Right. And you're like, wait, what happened? Why am I not being supported?
Sure. Yeah.
And that's not it. So
yeah. And sometimes that ebb is for you to take a moment and reevaluate some things, like take a look at all the things you might be spending excess on. Take a good solid look at your bank account. Maybe you're being charged for shit that you don't need to be paying for anymore, etc. Just like it's just a moment to take a hard look at your stuff. And once you do, it usually, the flow comes back up. It was just there to teach you something, allowing that lesson to happen.
Mm-hmm. I like that lesson. I mean, I don't like the lesson, but I like that explanation. That insight. Okay, and then the last one is the law of gender. And that states that masculine and feminine energy exists in all things, and life works best when both energies are aligned and working together. Our divine feminine represents the parts of our consciousness that are connected to intuition, feelings, emotions, creativity, all of those things. And then our masculine connects us to logic, authority, confidence, taking action, all of that. So one is not better than the other.
No.
And both have to work together.
It's the sun and the moon.
It's the sun and the moon. And this is why right now it feels like that's what's happening in the universe or in on Earth, is that we're trying to bring balance to that.
Yeah.
And it's taking us through the rise of the divine feminine and bringing this imbalance into our consciousness. So, just Jesus, the last, oh my gosh, how long has it been since we've been going through this nonsense? Definitely since like 2015.
Right. Yeah.
you know, and right now it's abortion rights. It's one of the catalysts in this current energy. So,
yeah.
I guess how to apply that for me personally, and I can't speak for anybody else, but I stopped applying that hustle mentality to my life. I fucking have never liked that hustle mentality.
Yeah.
I think I did a topic on it. Alignment is the new hustle.
Yes.
Hustle is not a good thing to do. So, if you're in alignment, you're doing what you love, and you're taking action, but you're using you have a practices in place to be creative and be inspired. And then you're using your more masculine tendencies to take actions, be responsible, set up, the right structures. You can't ask more of yourself than that.
Yeah. I feel like for me, it's honoring how I'm feeling and honoring that some days you are going to be far more productive than others, and allowing yourself to live in that and to experience that without judgment, without judging yourself.
Right.
Because I found that there's so much attached to that, and that comes from like the way I was raised and all that, of like, oh no, if you're bored, you should be doing something. Or, if I'm stressed, I should go clean something or whatever, and that kind of stuff. And just allowing yourself some days to just have rest, and allowing yourself also like to be busy sometimes, because it's all natural. For me, all
natural, ebb and flow.
Yeah. What I've really worked on more lately is regarding like exercise, because for a long, long time, I was very just like every single day, like, you got to get out there. Like, you got to like earn your shower. Like it was every day. And now I'm like, I can't, like, I'm too physically exhausted to do that every single day. So I'm looking into other avenues of still getting some physical exercise, but not as extreme and not as just like physically demanding as it has been for me in the past.
Yeah. Exercise, I'm not as a rule, I'm not saying that I don't like exercise, because I do. I love endorphins, and I love the feeling of feeling good, and I love the feeling of showing up for myself. But it's hard to find one that you really like and that feels good. I don't get those people who they find that one and then that's it. That's all they ever do, and they love it, and it creates this. I'm just like, damn it, can't I just find one? I do like yoga though, but it's
I'm gonna go try Pilates.
It doesn't make me sweat. Yeah, you'd said that. Yeah. All right, keep us posted. Okay, so just to wrap up all those laws.
Yes.
If you're feeling overwhelmed at the thought of how the fuck do I integrate all of these laws into my life, just know that it's good enough to simply understand the concepts. Yes. So I would pull these up on the internet. They're easy come up. Understand the concept and keep it on the back burner of your mind, and then just slowly work at them day to day. Ask to remember one, ask for your help from your spirit guides, your higher self. Ask to, remember 1 or 2 or 3. Yeah. And eventually, I don't work with all 12, but all 12 makes sense to me. And I agree with all 12. So, but that's taken years and years and years. So, baby steps, as they say.
Yes.
And here's the cool thing. Now that you've been introduced to these laws, and then based on the law of attraction, their energy will come up more in your life more frequently. So you'll have more opportunities to work with them. So
you're welcome.
Universal law. Right. You are all welcome. Yeah. Do you have anything for the closing vibe?
I do. Just a quick card pull, and we didn't plan this before, but I pulled from the Esther Hicks Into the Vortex deck. It's an oracle deck. Yeah. So I pulled up card number 42, and it's Should I Leave or Should I Stay? It is very empowering to discover that your patterns of thought do not have to follow your current situation, and therefore your current situation on all subjects can change. We do not recommend taking the physical action of leaving a relationship without deliberately coming into thought alignment with the new desires that have been born out of your current relationship. And then whether you stay in this relationship or move on to another, you can have exactly what you desire. So if you've suddenly found yourself in whatever relationship is, romantic, friendship, business relationship, whatever relationship this may pertain to you specifically, if you have suddenly found like, there are things in this that are not working for me, instead of just being like, all right, therefore now I am out, taking that moment to examine, okay, but what would work for me? Because if you don't take that moment to say, this is what will work for me, or this is what I want, you're just going to get more of the same, because that's not what you've put yourself in alignment with.
More of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's a really good one. And it ties in beautifully with the entire, topic of today, universal law. Yeah. Weird how that happened.
Every time.
But yeah, Abraham Hicks is one of the first sort of spiritual leader teams that I really, I think that was the first one that actually made me go, oh, this stuff is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's put in words that are understandable, and sometimes it's just like a short little, few sentences that, they just wrap it up real nicely for you, and in ways that make sense. Because sometimes some things can be so convoluted, so over-explained that you get lost in the message.
Like fucking Tole.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Ugh, it's like, I don't even know what you just said, but I want to hate you. I don't want to hate him, but like, just nothing about him do I want to understand or listen to.
Just get to the fucking point.
Right. Fucker. Okay, well, thank you. That was a lovely message to wrap it all up.
You're welcome.
Follow us on Instagram, guys. We love to I don't know, we love followers. Just
we love sharing your shares.
Follow us on Instagram. Right, exactly. I mean, I like to and I like to follow back, so I get, new people and situations in my timelines. But you can find Fioraliz at Fioraliz, Fioraliz _. And then you can find me just by typing in Joe Figueras, Joe Figueras, and then I've got 2 accounts, Akashic Reader or Studio, and they'll both come up. So please do that. And you can find us on all the socials under Esoterics Podcast. So be sure to join our Facebook community to hear firsthand about our services and events and courses and all that good stuff.
Yes. And as always, stay mystical, magical, and ready to do it again next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.